full alert. I mean, as if the West was going to launch a preemptive nuclear strike. I mean, it was nonsense. But Liz Truss is now being blamed by the Russians for all of this.
Yeah. Yes, she is. The Kremlin essentially pointed the finger at her today for the reason that Vladimir Putin went down that route. Thankfully, the United States and others have said they've not seen anything strategic in terms of change in the last 24, 48 hours that would suggest that Russia's actually serious in all of this. But you are right, and we have briefings from security officials here in London, but it has been a message that's been reiterated in Paris, Berlin and Washington. The fear is that as this war drags on, as the pressure in the Kremlin mounts on President Putin, and frankly, as there doesn't seem to be an obvious way out, that Putin may well get more aggressive, and that will be at the cost of the Ukrainian people. We have seen an increase, I think, in shelling today in the second city. We know that there's been several large explosions tonight in Kyiv as well, and that will...
And suggestions of cluster bombs being used.
Indeed, and which the Russians, must be said, have used in the past, but only in places like Syria. And it's fascinating, isn't it, when you look at these images coming out of Ukraine, some of them very difficult to verify, some of them not so, and you've got ordinary Ukrainians telling Russian soldiers to go home, they're not wanted, in their own language, using their own swear words. And I think also, and one of the things, and I've read an awful lot about this conflict in the last couple of days, that really has stood out more than anything else, and it's about morale amongst Russian troops. Many of these troops, essentially, while not actually conscripted, but they join up because they're offered a free house. They've never really, many of them, been in battle, because Russia's not been involved in a proper war for a very long period of time. Syria is completely different from this. But that they have got incinerators on the battlefield to ensure that these bodies do not go home, that their ashes are spread in Ukraine. And that is because back in 2008, during the Georgian incursion or the invasion, Putin learned a lesson about Russian mothers taking to the streets about their dead kids. And that is a concern clearly weighing heavily on the Kremlin.
Yeah, no.